All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. It is Thursday, the most exciting day of the week, because we are all here to look at the markets again. All right. Let me go ahead and put some of these tweets out and let everybody know we are live. Perfect. Gonna send that. Awesome. Perfect. Looks like we're good here. We're live. Everything looks okay. Everything's in check. Perfect. All right. Let's get everyone to kind of come in here. Tommy Stonks. Good morning, my man. How you doing? Nothing like setting off the fire alarm at work. Sheesh. Alright, let's take a look at the job reports number. And in fact, let's take a look at how the SPY is reacting to it. Eric, my man, good morning. Alright, so the job number came out better than expected here. Francisco, good morning. Edgar, good morning, my man. Dan Melly, good morning. Baller Wade, what's going on? Good morning. Got a slightly better than expected jobs report number here. So we'll see how that kind of pans out. Just sent out the tweets and the messages here. Let's wait for everyone to kind of tune in. It is 8:30. We just got live. We usually start at around 8:35 a.m. and we'll kick it off with the market sentiment, kind of what we're looking at here, and then we'll get into some of the free alerts, and then we'll get into some of the questions you guys may have. Dub the Dawn, do you use RSI and MACD? I do not. Sky, my man, good morning. Just hanging. Sup, my man, how you doing? Esma, what's going on? All right. Just gonna wait here for a little bit. Wait about 5 minutes, then we'll get things kind of moving here. Looks like the market is now trying to react to this jobs report number. A little bit of a pop here, not much volume. We'll see how that pans out. Gonna wait about 3 more minutes, let everybody tune in. Once everybody is here, then we'll get it started. Charles, good morning. Thanks for doing these streams, no worry. Keki, how you doing? Good morning. We got lots of fog up here in Toronto, man. I pretty much can't see out my windows. It's just pure white. Jocelyn, good morning. Good morning. All right. Got about 2 more minutes here. We'll wait for everyone to tune in. Simon, good morning from Toronto. Yes. I'm gonna try to pronounce this name without butchering it. Lala Bahai Patel. Good morning. Perfect. All right, guys. So, market didn't move much here with that jobs report number, which is fine. I kind of rather it not do as much here, but the job report number was better than expected. We'll talk about the levels to kind of keep an eye on going into today and what we need to focus on. Danielle, good morning. The GOAT, what's going on? Esma, I hear you. It's so foggy. Yeah, it's crazy. I got up at around 6:30 today, and it was pretty much just white smoke everywhere here. But It'll clear out. It did the same thing yesterday, but you can't even see within like 10 feet in front of you. You butchered it. Gabrielle, good morning. Mr. Snowboarder, good morning. How you doing? All right. We got about a minute to go here, and then we'll get started. Hopefully everyone's had a safe week. Mikkel, what's going on? Good afternoon. Oh yeah, my glasses. I almost forgot. There we go. Put my glasses on for you guys to take a look. I got these prescription glasses. I didn't think my eyes had an issue until I got one. Now I can see everything a lot better. It's not much. It's like a 0.25, I think, or 0.2. I don't even know. She said it's not that bad. All right, we got about 2 seconds here. We'll get started. All right, guys. So thank you guys all for tuning in. You know, we do this every Thursday, 8:30 a.m. We talk about the markets. We'll get into it, what we're expecting today. We'll talk about some of the free alerts, and then, you know, once I'm over that, if you guys have questions regarding any of the tickers you guys want to ask, if you have, you know, ideas you want to run by me, let me know what you're looking to do. Don't just say, hey, you know, what do you think of Tesla? Let me know, hey, I want to buy Tesla for a day trade on the long side, on the put side. I want to swing trade it. Let me know what you're thinking. That way I can get into more detail of, you know, whether it's a good idea, not a good idea, and so forth. What's in the cup? Hennessy. Just black coffee there with a little bit of oat milk. All right, guys, so we'll get right into it. This is the daily chart on the SPY, obviously, right? On this candle right here, that was when, you know, that big news dropped with regards to what's going on in Europe. Then we had this pop, respected that moving average, rejected. You can see in the past we've rejected these moving averages, you know, in the last few weeks. Pretty good. Came down here, and yesterday we popped back up, put a pretty good strong hammer here off of that 20 moving average. Now we've popped back up before and we've rejected. So the key here is to maintain above the 20 moving average and then continue to push towards this 50 moving average. That's what's going to be the key thing here if we want to get back, you know, track back above that 200 moving average. I know that 50 and the 200 cross, most people think of that as the death cross. And to be honest, I don't put much weight on this because simply if you had this death cross that essentially happened here and you started buying puts, well, now you're just getting smoked, right? We've gone up from the day the death cross happened till now. I guess this was the close of that day. We've gone up a total of about 4.5%, right? So death cross doesn't necessarily mean start buying puts just because that happened. Unfortunately, I don't pay too much attention to that, but what I do pay attention to is candlesticks, price action, volume, which we had yesterday, and moving averages. We came above that 20 moving average, nice hammer candle. We tried to sell off, bulls came back and took control again. So this is a good sign. We just need to see if we can maintain above some levels, and I'm going to talk about those levels for you guys here. All right, so let's take a look at the levels here. And the main thing to keep an eye on here is we can see that this area, this little congestion at the 433, 432.40 level was an area that, one, we rejected yesterday, we rolled off, right? We rejected again near the end of the day before consolidating and breaking out. And now we're kind of respecting it here in the pre-market, all right? So what's the level that I'm focusing on today? Most of my focus is going to be at this 433, 432.50 level, all right? Now, if we open up and we manage to hold above this level, great. We have a few levels that I've jotted down here. I've cleaned up the chart, so these are the only levels that I'm kind of paying attention to. If you guys want, you could take a screenshot of this so you're familiar with these levels. And the level in the red is an area that, you know, it needs to really show itself at this point before we move any higher, all right? So if we hold over the 433, we could track back to these pre-market levels. You can see these 436.76 levels are areas that we're seeing rejection. So if we hold this, this is the next area that we're going to be looking to see what's going to happen if we maintain above or we reject and roll over. Now, if we do hold above this level, then we have the opportunity to push to the 438, and then this big congestion area that's going to be a level to really pay attention to, okay? That level should see a lot of resistance. If it doesn't, then we can pop back up to the 443.90 level, 442.75 level, which on the daily lines up pretty good with this 50-day moving average, right? Ultimately, that's that level we need to pay attention to. Now, why is those areas red? Well, because this is that pivot high that we rejected before we sold off after that run up. So that's going to be an area that I'm paying attention to. Get above that, then we're coming into that 50-day moving average. All right. So I'm going to pop up the levels again for you guys so you can take a look. This is the move to the upside. Now, obviously, if we do roll over, we have some levels that we can pay attention to, the 430.91 being one, and then the 428.76. As we roll over, this moving average will curl down, and it will pretty much line up with this 428.76. And then under that, we have this area that was respected prior, respected here, and respected again yesterday, having candles that pretty much lined up right with this 426.53 level. All right, so that's in regards to the SPY. Now let's dive in and take a look at the Qs. Perfect. So the Qs here, we can see that the death cross happened way before the SPY's death cross essentially happened, and we knew that, right? We knew that going into the market, the tech sector was a lot more weaker in general in regards to the SPY. So we've had this more of a sell-off kind of taking place here. Now, again, similar story as before here. Every time we've popped up above the 20-day moving average, we rejected and sold off. Popped up, rejected and sold off, right? Popped, rejected, popped, rejected. Here we are again. Now what's different here is that we're popping up pretty strong candle, aggressive volume here. Not aggressive, but above average. This black line is that average line that we're looking at, right? So now we are above average, nice close above it. Again, this is a good sign so long as we continue to hold above that 20 moving average. Then we can look to possibly track back to these 50-day moving averages and see how we do. Consolidate, reject, and hold. Ideally, we need to stay above that 20-day moving average. And let's take a look at the closer time frame and see what levels we're looking at here. So there we go. Very similar to what's going on with the SPY, right? We have this pretty much strong push yesterday, failed to push up today, and we're kind of rejecting here. And the level to keep an eye on is this 338 level, all right? This 338 level is going to be kind of key here. If we lose that, we do have the opportunity to come back down to the 336.99, which is essentially that level from yesterday. Lose that, and we're coming down to the 335.50, and then this 334.23, which lines up with this level, pre-market levels yesterday, respected again intraday, and again here on this push back up. All right. Ultimately, we do have room to fall to the 329 if we end up losing this 332.39 level. Okay. That's going to be the level that needs to maintain, in my opinion, because if it does not, you can see this drop happened without much support, and then the next support here is 329. So if we lose this 332.39, we could see a fall down. Now, if we do hold these levels, just like we will with the SPY, we should see a retest of these pre-market highs after hours from yesterday. That level will be a little bit of a key area to keep an eye on. Break above that, 344, 346, and then 348 will be the move there. And then by that point, you're going to get a little exhausted, and you're not going to see much buyers kind of come up and step up here at this level. All right, so those are the key levels to keep an eye on. Take a picture of it. Get familiar with these levels. They come from multiple time frames, daily levels, and as I kind of pan out, as I'm watching charts every single day, I add to these levels when I identify key areas. Okay. So, with that said, let me pop into the free alerts that what we got going on. Then we'll talk about those, and then we'll take any questions you guys may have. Again, remember, let me know what you guys want to trade, upside, downside, day trade, swing trade, and so forth. All right. So this is Oxy. All right, let's take a look at the Oxy Daily Chart here. So after an explosive move, we had a little bit of a pullback taking place here. Okay. With the market kind of pulling back, a lot of these oil names are starting to kind of pop up a little bit here. But something to pay attention to is that obviously Oxy had some news regarding Berkshire kind of purchasing a ton of shares, increasing their exposure to this company to about 14%. So keeping an eye on this stock right here, and the level that I'm keeping an eye on is that 55.50 level. All right, this 55.50 level kind of is a psychological number. We have a resistance right here at 55.35. It's pre-market level from yesterday, was a level that we need to keep an eye on. If we do break above that, great. We should see a nice push at least to this 56 level, even the 56.30 level, and that will be the move that I'm kind of looking at over the 55.50, looking to buy calls to the upside. All right, more interested on the long side on this, as not as much on the downside, but on the downside, if we get under the 54.80 level, which is that pre-market resistance pivot high, and then if it rolls over, we could see it fall down to the 54 level. Ideally, again, like I said, I want this over the 55.50, but with that said, if the market decides to sell off, this is going to continue going higher. So you got to kind of keep your eyes on the market as well. All right, so that's Oxy over the 55.50. I'm looking to buy calls under the 54.80. I'll look to see if I can get involved on the downside, but it's going to be a quick move. I'd rather trade this on the upside. Next one is CVS. So CVS, looking at 107.50. All right, let's take a look at 107.50. Let's jot it out. All right, 107.50. What do we got? We have a slight little double bottom here happening from yesterday's levels. We have a nice little channel that we're in. Over that 107.50 level, we should see a push back up to this 109. All right, that's the level I'm keeping an eye on for the long side. And if this does fall under that 105.75 level, which is essentially the break of the channel to the downside, then I'll look to play to the downside. All right, so again, just to make sure, over the 107.50, I'm looking to go up, and under this 105.69, I'm looking to go down. All right, again, we'll talk about how you guys can take these alerts. I know everyone has questions about it, so we'll talk about it after this next one here. Snow is another one I'm paying attention to here. Perfect. So on Snow, looking at the 200 level. All right, 200 level is something that I'm paying attention to, which is right here. I know we're not really near it, but looking at the 200 level simply because, one, it's a big psychological number. All right, we have some resistance at this 199 level, but I don't want to get involved at the break of this 199 and then get rejected at the 200. Okay, we do have a little bit of resistance at the 201.58, but if we clear that 200 level, we should see a nice strong push at least back up to this 206, 208 level. All right, not much resistance on there until this 208 level. However, we do need to clear that 200 psychological whole number. Had a nice strong move yesterday, so looking to see if we get continuation on this one. Now, if this breaks down under the 195, which happens to be right here, a little bit below your pre-market lows, but under that 195, we should see that sell-off down to the 190 at least, which is some support here that I have from a few days back, and then the 184 if we get that market sell-off to kind of take place. All right, so let me pull up CVS, and with everyone asking, how do you take these alerts, I'm going to let you guys know right now. So if the stock happens to come up to your trigger within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, oftentimes I take the trade right out of the gates. If it's coming up to the trigger, I'm getting involved right here. If it's within the first 5, 10 minutes, I'm getting involved, and I'm taking this move up because within the first 5, 10 minutes, you're getting a lot of volume that comes in, and this move will be pretty much explosive before it even consolidates and rolls over, or actually the consolidation pushes higher. But this is where I want to get involved, because that's when that premium is going to start juicing up, and as we push up in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, that's what's going to really drive that momentum higher. All right, now if this happens, if the trigger is taking place after the first hour, when volume really dies down, you really need to pay attention, because let's say an hour goes by and the stock is kind of consolidating, and then it comes to your trigger level. Well, at this point, you don't have that volume or that strength to drive through this resistance area. What you're going to want to see here is a breakout, retest, and then you can get involved at that retest level to continue to move higher here. All right, so those are both ways to kind of play it. And this would be really after the first hour. This would be the only way I would take it, especially if it takes a long time for it to get to that trigger point. You really have to wait for this retest to take place before you get involved. All right, so let me go through the chat here, see if you guys have any questions regarding any tickers that you guys want me to talk about, and we'll go from there. Good morning, Legit Movers Chicago. Edgar, I'm having puts for shop. I want to do both sides for day trade. I have puts for shop. I think your inputs for shop, you said. So let's take a look at the daily. So a nice strong move on shop yesterday. You know, we had that trigger over the 580, I believe. Nice strong move coming into this 639. That's going to be that 20 moving average resistance. You can see every time it pops up to it, sells off. If this is one of those cases, 639 might be the level that you might want to pay attention to. If this does push up to 639, you could see if you can try to, you know, buy puts. I don't really usually like buying puts into that kind of a strength move. And on the downside, doesn't really give me much of a, you know, area to buy puts at. If we get under the 609 level, you could try to take puts down to the 594, but it'll be a quick trade. Most importantly, I probably like this over the 640. If it gets back above that 20-day moving average on the daily, you know, it does have room to push to that 683. So keep an eye on it on the long side as well. If it does get above that 640 level, it does have some room to kind of push higher. But on the downside, you really need to get under at least this 609 level, 608 level, which is a little bit of yesterday's resistance area, some pre-market support. Break that and you should see maybe 595, but don't marry the put side too much on that one, Edgar. Thoughts on Tesla day trade long if we hold these key levels on indexes? Let's take a look at Tesla. So the one issue that I have with the Tesla chart, it's coming into this congestion of moving averages. All right. To me, I really don't like getting involved on the long side when I have too many moving averages, and I put more weight on different moving averages. So, you know, the 20 moving average has a little bit of weight, the 50 has a little bit more, and the 200 has the more weight, or think of it as more sellers essentially, right? We're coming into that 200 moving average here, which is sitting at around, I guess, 848, right? We have the 20, we have this resistance here at 843. We have this 200 moving average at 848. To me, there's better trades that you can get involved in that won't have as much resistance here on the long side, okay? But if you're really looking to trade this, you really have to wait for this to get back above at least 845. Then you can look to kind of take advantage of it. But like I said, that 848 is your 200 moving average. The 850 is going to be a psychological number. You have a lot of resistance on the way up. It's not going to be an easy, fluid, directional move on this one, where it has room to kind of run. Hardick, view on Apple call above 162. Take a look at Apple. Let's take a look at the daily here. 162. So I'm not sure where you got 162 from. I guess you're trying to clear this moving average here. Take a look at the 15-minute time frame. You know, if we pop up over the 162, first of all, if we get to the 162, the move is going to be really extended today anyways. If we get over the 162 level, the move will be a little bit extended. If you're looking to day trade this, you're going to have to really wait for some sort of consolidation to take place at the 162. For a day trade, you could try this over the 160.50 level for a drive into that 162. If you're looking to swing trade this, I mean, you do have pretty decent risk to reward with that 200 moving average being right here, but you would need at least a 10-point risk in order to make moves, and then you're looking at least targets of 167. Again, not the market I want to be swing trading in, but if you're looking at day trade, take a look at the 160.50 for a push to the 162, and then obviously at this level, which happens to line up right here with this pre-market high, then you can look for consolidation or for a bullish pattern. Once that bullish pattern comes, you can take the trigger to the upside, but don't chase the move. If it comes all the way from the open, starts pushing up here, that's going to be an extended move for you to take the trigger at 162. Okay, so it might just roll back over. You might get stopped out before it actually continues moving higher. So wait for that consolidation to take place before buying calls at that level. Coin day trade call above 176. Coin above 176. Take a look at the daily. Yeah, above 176, I don't mind a move above 176 there. If you get above 176, you're above the 20 moving average, you're above this pivot high from March 11th. You should see a nice run to the 181. But same thing that I was telling with to Hardick over there, you have to wait to see how we react under that 176 level. If we get there, pretty strong and we consolidate right under it, great. But it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to take it right out of the trigger because the stock is currently sitting at 171. If it pushes to 176, that's going to be an extended move. You're going to have to wait for some sort of a consolidation to take place before you get involved on the long side on it. But I do like it. It clears a 20 moving average. Should be all right there. Looking to buy BITF and Riot as Bitcoin started to pick up. Short term. Thanks. Let's take a look at BITF. Yeah, I mean these are things that if you're relying on Bitcoin kind of moving, you have a pretty good base right here setting up on the sticker or this $3 level. Not something that I would trade sub $10 names, especially not something that I would swing. But you do have nice support at this $3 level. If you want to start kind of getting involved on a medium to longer term basis, simply based on your Bitcoin exposure, great. You can probably start something here with room to add anywhere from the 2 to the 150s if this does decide to roll over. But short term, I think you're still seeing a lot of resistance. You do have a good risk to reward at the $3 level. If you get involved here at 350, you can give yourself a 50% risk, maybe 60% risk right down here to this 290 level, and then look for targets of at least 430 and then 463. All right, but again, it's going to be heavily relied on Bitcoin and what Bitcoin really does going forward. Same thing with Riot. You can see that we have this kind of support forming right here. A little bit of a nice decent double bottom here, nice hammer the other day. You have a good risk at the $13 level. You could try to get involved. This is 16, so you would need at least a $3.50 risk to see if you can make 450. So the risk is there here. Risk to reward is also there if you want to get involved. But again, needs to have Bitcoin to move alongside with it. And if you're bullish on Bitcoin, then you can try this short-term swing on this one. Thinking about buying some SoFi equity for long-term. Good time. Ooh. So I know nothing about this company's financials to tell you anything about long-term. Is it a good time? It doesn't look like it's consolidated long enough. It has broken prior lows, using the prior low of 886 as a resistance point here. It could very easily roll back over. Next fib down is 625. All right. There's nothing here that tells me that the stock is ready to curl back up and go up. If you're looking to get involved, you could start with maybe 1/8 of a position. And start now. As it comes down to like $6, you can maybe add to it. Ultimately, with names like this, you never want to tell yourself that the chances of it going to 2 is impossible. We've seen things kind of drop significantly. Even if you get involved here, 50% is at $4, right? So your capital needs to kind of be scaled in so you get a better cost average going into this. Not something I would invest in long term, simply because I'm not versed in the financials and what they're actually doing going into the future. But if you've done your research, then understand that this one hasn't gone out of its downtrend, and 2, it's something that could keep coming down. So you would have to give yourself at least 1/8 or 8 opportunities to add to your position on the long term here. I see shop going lower to fill the gap. Not sure which gap you're referring to. I don't really see a gap. Not really sure what gap you're talking about. Thoughts on Apple puts for day trade. Apple puts. Apple puts you need to get under 158. If you get under the 158, we should see a nice sell-off. But when you're trading names like Apple, you really have to pay attention to the Qs and the SPY. See what they want to do. They're going to be very heavily following each other. So pay attention to that. Under the 158 possibly, but you got to see how the market pushes. If the market decides to push up, then I would refrain from buying puts on Apple, just because. Sky, everyone smash the like button. Yes, smash the like button if you guys are here. Nancy, yes. JPM swing. Let's take a look at JPM. JPM swing. It's popping out of this little wedge here. This bear flag kind of reversed on yesterday, pushing up. As a swing, I really don't see anything here. We're under the moving averages. We've just popped up here very briefly. If you take a swing here, you need stops at 127, and that's a big stop for your risk of what? You have resistance right here at 140. Possibly that's like a $2 reward for a $11 risk. To me, this doesn't make sense as a swing. You have to wait for a better pattern to get involved in this. Not a fan of this one. Alright guys, so it is 9 a.m. If I did miss any of your questions, go ahead and shoot me a DM on Twitter or Discord. If you guys are still here, go ahead and smash that like button. Could you tell me what studies are shown on the screen? There are 20 SMA, 50 EMA, and 200 SMA. Wait, no, I lied. Yeah, 20 EMA, 50 EMA, and 200 SMA. Those are the moving average, 20, 50, and 200. You can put it on your charts. All right. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Every Thursday, I do go live on here, guys. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys are still here. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. If I missed your questions, you can always DM me. It doesn't have to be on these lives. I answer all my DMs. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a safe trading week. Make sure you don't do anything crazy. Tomorrow's a lot of Friday, so make sure you have fun with that. And I'll catch you guys next Thursday right here.